Alright, I am basically recording this here just as a little show off, a test as well to see how the performance goes, and also to get some feedback because, my own eyes can be a little bit too harsh on something that I'm seeing 100 times, and I need some outside perspective. So this here is a project that I've been working on. It is a little video game that I've been making. I don't know how little or large it will turn out to be by the end, but that is completely irregardless. Now, I'm going to start the simulation here and just let everyone actually have a look and see what I'm doing. But everything that has been made is usually 99% of it is Cinti assets. If you've ever heard of that wonderful studio, they do wonderful art assets that you've seen here being at work. I'm getting a bit distracted with the light flickering. I thought I had that fixed. But anyway, we've got some nice wandering NPCs here. We've got some, see them just going around their paths. That's all new code I've put in today. See some nice just idlers. These guys are future shopkeepers to, manage hunger and food and buy some weapons. What's a cyberpunk game if you can't buy a weapon? I have also implemented a first person and a third person mode. It doesn't always snap to it correctly, but yeah. Some of the other things I also wanted to show off while this was currently running, and it was a video that I could show off to people, was the fact that it wouldn't be a cyberpunk city if we did not have rain. So that's definitely been added in. There is no sound, and I am talking with a little bit of hush tones because my house is asleep. But yeah, I figured the other thing just to show that is also working is that we have a daylight, day and night system that is happening here. And that is actually linked with the streetlights. So the streetlights do turn themselves off when the day turns on. And with the light, it's also a bit easier here that I can show off some other effects. So I bought a wonderful, wonderful retro pack the other day. I can probably give a link if anyone wants to know what it is. And the retro pack has given me lots and lots of things. Basically, it is a custom retro shader pipeline to mimic PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, and early PlayStation 2 rendering constraints. Being old, I just like how old school graphics was, and being an old school developer, that is something that, I feel like I should learn the basics before I move on to all the fancy advanced stuff. So to give a good example, though, of how all of this works is that most textures are clamped to a low color depth with point filtering and a 720 resolution cap. So you get that really harsh pixel perfect look instead of the modern smoothing that we're used to. The key trick to this is vertex snapping. Like, most objects are stable, but selective props, and really the only prop I've got here to use as an example, but most selective props are snapped to a grid. And yeah, when things are stable and they're all snapped to a fixed grid, it recreates that classic vertex jigger you see on older hardware. I feel like I'm kind of butchering that explanation, but for example, this box here I've got set to 16 snaps per meter. So as the camera moves, you can see that the box is snapping around to match where, it's wobbling for the screen space. It's just like something that the old Crash Bandicoot used to do. I've always wondered how that effect was done. That is how it's done. It's more or less just controlled instability, removing precision on purpose to bring back a like real retro visual identity. But I don't know, it's something that I geek out at and really, really love. You can see some of my bad building modeling here as well I'm standing on top of, but this is just where I hide the crash box. Um, that is basically everything I really wanted to show off. Just, this has been a few weeks of project here. Hey, I fell through the roof. Anyway, there is quite a few different things being worked on. Like, these are smart NPCs that are meant to have proper goals, but they don't follow the grid-based system yet that those NPCs over there are walking and judging on. There's lots of different moving parts that are in process, but either way, I plan on doing a few more of these as time goes by. It would be a great way just to show the evolution, how things have changed over the weeks and months, because really I can say at the moment this has been a project that has been in the works for about 3 months, and it's taken me this long to prototype a lot of stuff in separate scenes and then start to bring them all together into this one scene here that we're seeing. And also the final thing I guess I should really pay attention to, if I bring this back down, Like, I don't expect my coding to be that great at all, with just things that are running on your update and, yeah, cache issues and stuff like that. But I'm happy that I'm still getting over 100 frames per second, which you can see in the top right there. And yeah, also very awesome retro sky that was not retro when it started, but is now. Maybe I'll do another video talking about how I took that backwards from how it was to what it is now, but that can definitely be for another day. I've made this long enough as it is. Thank you for having a look at my project, and feel free to give me any advice. Goodbye.